Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another Make It a Mini Monday. Today I've got something a bit different because I was asked in the comments for Make It a Mini Monday to share what my album looks like with all of the varying sized pages mixed in. And I do have quite a bit of this album done, although it is not completely done, and that's what I'm working on for this series, with the exception of the 12 by 12 pages that I still have to do. So this is a trip that my family did with a bunch of homeschooled kids and their families to do some studies out on Santa Cruz Island. And I have a very unique situation where my uncle has lived out there for, I don't know, 50 years, 40 years, 50 years. And it's a privately owned island for the most part. It does have a state park on one side of it now. And, but the part that he lives on and the majority of it is still privately owned. Well, it was privately owned. It is now part of the Nature Conservancy, but my uncle still lives out there, and he does some work for the Nature Conservancy, and then the rest of it, he works for UCSB, who has a field station out there for doing a bunch of studies that are science related, or maybe history related. So anyway, the kids were studying the island, and it was kind of a large scale project that a bunch of people were studying it all over the world at the same time for this project called the Jason Project, which we participated in, and we just had the unique opportunity to go and actually visit the island. So this is my opening page. It's a cut file. I think it's a Paige Evans. I started this album a couple years ago, and I just work on it here and there, and so it spans a great deal of time in my scrappy journey, but not really in life. So most of the pictures here are from the island. Actually, all of these are from the island. There are some pictures of the Santa Barbara area that were leading up to our trip to the island, and some studies we did beforehand. And I really like to keep pictures of like the flora and fauna and just random things we see, because they make great filler spots for these types of pocket pages. And I apologize if there is a glare. I'm going to try and hold it in varying angles so you can see. These are just some bones that were found on one of the beaches, probably from some sort of marine mammal that washed up on shore. And actually that was really interesting to the kids because they got to learn some stuff about that as well. Let's see, can you see the whole thing? There we go. I think I'm in frame there. So here are the coordinates, the GPS coordinates, and I really liked this "You Are Here." So this is just a 6 by 12. Again, more photos of the island. This is one of the studies that was being done at the time, and how they marked the plants that were out there for the study. We've got some ocean views, some fog, the dirt roads. There are no paved roads out there. Everything is dirt, and you ride around in 4x4s, or actually in the back of 4x4s. So you might see some of those pictures in here as well. So here is a page that is done. It's got some mini spots. I do need to do a bunch of journaling. These were photos that were taken leading up to, and we were doing some studies beforehand, before we go out there. And so these are at one of the family's houses, and the kids are all doing a group study. This is just a 12 by 12 of all of the kids on the hillside out at a local beach. It's Fitzgerald Marine Reserve, that's local to us. And so they were doing some more studies of the sea life, the marine animals, and a bunch of the tide pools. So it was a tide pool trip. This is you can see the side of the hill here, and then they go around the beach. I don't know if you can see that. Apologize if it's far away. It's really hard to show you this. And then this wooden piece of wood or tree was kind of on the side. They all climbed up there. So I need to still do this page. Here is an 8 by 8, and this is my daughter checking out the tide pools. I love to mix the wood in with it. Most of this wood is from Kaiser Craft, not all of it. and different textures. This is a, oh my goodness, a crab that she found out there. I think that's actually my husband's hand holding it, but a little crab that from the tide pools. I really like the different sizes in the album, and I will just go ahead and punch the holes so that I can fit the page protectors in. It doesn't bother me at all. Another small page I'm keeping kind of simple because I'm going to do some journaling here. And these are still tide pools, so these are all pre-studies working up to the event. This is a banana slug. It's not a tide pool animal, but we've got like the limpets and another crab and such, some barnacles and such. And these are some of the kids and the families. More journaling is going to go in here talking about the studies leading up to it. I still have all of the reference material and the study material that we used to do all of this, so I can pull some of that in as well. This is going to have some words right here. It's going to say Natural History Museum, and they're going to be scripty, and I just haven't finished that part yet. This is the Natural History Museum in Santa Barbara. My cousin lives there, so we went and stayed with my cousin's family, and it's actually his dad that lives out on the island. And this is right before leading up to the island. So we've got a big whale skeleton, and then these are the islands. This is the island that we are going to visit. I don't know if you can see that. It's really hard to see my phone. And then I will, once this is all done, I will make sure this stays closed. But this is just a topographical display of the islands, and Santa Cruz is the largest. You've probably heard of Catalina, which is, boy, I don't even see it on here. Anacapa, Santa Rosa, San Miguel. Catalina's in here somewhere. It's one of the smaller ones, surprisingly. So this is something that I would do like on a make it a mini Monday. Just do this whole page because I'm really just decorating this. And then you've got photos filling out the rest. If you've watched the last 2 Mondays, these are the 2 pages that I just did. And that's an 8.5 by 11. I have a 12 by 12 to do here. This is really not pertaining to the actual studies. This is my cousin's daughters and my kids, and they are all really close. So I need to do a 12 by 12 there, but it is back to back with this 12 by 12. This is leading up or heading out to the island. So that's all of the kids in the study heading out to the island. Great cut file here. Just a kind of a subtitle for the whole thing because it's starting a new chapter. I'm going to use that term lightly or loosely. Starting a new chapter in the album. They're headed over to the island, and this is the kids getting on the boat, and then once they first arrived. So I've already got some journaling on here, just talking about the crew and everything. Another 12 by 12 to be done. This is all about dolphin sighting. So there's photos in here that are of the dolphins. Oh, I guess it's not just dolphin sighting. It's my daughter and my niece, but there's a dolphin there. And you do see a ton of dolphins on the boat trip out. More getting ready for the boat, on the boat, adding just the smaller pages. I really like that. And another 2 more 8.5 by 11s going in here. So you'll probably see those on a Make It a Mini. And then I've got a page here that has room for some journaling. I've got, is this actually, this is, I don't even know if this is done. Nope, it's done. It actually is not done because it needs some more stuff on it. I think this is where I left off, which I kind of work all over the place and on whatever inspires me at the moment. So where I left off doesn't mean there's nothing left in the book that's not done, but this is definitely not finished. We've got the pier that the boat comes up to. Everybody throws all their stuff up on the pier, and then it gets loaded into trucks and trailers, and we all get hauled out to a gated area. We have to go behind a locked gate, and that is the private portion of the island. And then this is just on the pier. It's big old starfish. I don't know if you can see that. I apologize if I'm getting it too close. Here's all of our gear. You can see them throwing the gear from the boat up onto the docks. And here's the truck with the trailer. I don't know if you got to see that. Throwing the gear, truck, trailer, all of the gear gets loaded. There are no grocery stores on this island, and there's no convenience stores. There's nothing. So this is the truck with the kids in the back, and then the trailer full of gear. So these pages are not done. This one started, but it's not finished. It needs some embellishments, and I just have not gotten to it because I got sidetracked doing other stuff. Here's more that will be in Make It a Mini. When I have a trip like this, I do normally go through for a big trip that has tons of scenery photos and a lot of photos that I know I want to keep. I will go through and do it in pocket pages and leave room for journaling and such, so that it's all kind of figured out. And I think this is kind of how MK does most of her albums, even though they're not pocket pages, but I think this is how she kind of figures hers out as well. But I don't do that with all of my other photos. I just do it with these types of trips. And I did not even do it with my Hawaii trip because I didn't really want to be limited. I just wanted to work from the stack of photos. So this one is pretty much done and in the wrong place in the album, because this is at my cousin's house. So, and that's his daughter. So this is like not even in the right spot. It goes way back over there. So I'll leave that out to be filed in the right area. This one is done as well. And this one is an extended page. It's not a flip flap because the page came like this. I don't know where I got these, but it comes with an extra 6x12 attached. And these are the kids walking down one of the trails. Actually, it's one of the roads. So this is what the road actually looks like. And they're walking to a beach, or to a swimming hole called Cascada. But as they're walking, we're finding tracks, we're measuring them, we're documenting all kinds of stuff like that. That's me. Lovely photo. And then when you open it up, this side is not done. You can see that these are the back sides of the papers. They're not the papers that I chose to go in these spots. So these will be covered and finished. So we've got some scat. One of the moms pulling the scat apart. I'm hoping this is interesting to you guys. This is one of the nights that we were at. It's a field station for UCSB that we were able to use because we were there for educational purposes. But the kids were doing skits, and then that's my uncle, so I have to finish this side. So he's watching the kids do skits. One side done, other side's not done. I have a lot to finish, you guys. Maybe I'll do that one next week because that'll be a quick and easy one to do. More skits. I need to do something right in here. I'm not doing anything super fancy because there's so many photos. I don't really need a lot. I will probably put some decor on some of these photos, but not on all of them. So I really just need this 4x4 section on both sides, and then maybe a few other details in there. This one, obviously it's a 6x12 that needs to be finished here. I saved these two shell cut files. This is, we took a drive out to, this is actually the harbor where the boat comes in that we got off of. It's called Prisoners Harbor. And this is overlooking Prisoners Harbor, which I apologize, you can't see that. But there's the dock. And you're able to access this for day use. You can catch a ferry over and use it during the day, but you can't really go too far beyond. So I need to finish this, and I need to finish this side. The kids are picnicking on the beach. We were checking out on the way down there. There are some old archaeological sites from the Chumash Indians, so we were checking that out. That's one thing they were studying. And then another 6x12, 12 by 18. So 6x12 here, 12 by 12 here. I don't obviously have anything done on there. Another shell. Learning about all kinds of stuff. They found I think it's a pelican skull. They found some exoskeletons of different things. So lots to do, you guys. I've got a lot to catch up on. This is going to make it a mini busy. So this is one of the studies that they were doing was on the eagles, and this is an eagle. I don't know if it was a nesting site or not. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to ask my husband because he'll remember. He's there. And then this is one of the guys that was doing a bunch of the research, and he's talking to the kids about it. So all kinds of cool stuff. Neat things you get to do when you are homeschooled. These are bones, probably from a pig or a sheep, because they are not native to the island. And when the Nature Conservancy took over the island, they wanted it back to its natural habitat. So they went in and killed off all the sheep and the pigs. And the pigs were actually running feral out there and creating a lot of havoc, because there is a small kit fox that is adorable. It's only found on these islands, and the pigs were killing it off. So, and the eagles actually were killing it off. So, pig stuff. Sorry if these photos are too graphic for you, but one of the boys in this family was studying the pigs, and then they brought in some helicopters and dogs to help track down where all the pigs were. So here's one that I have done. This is about the golden eagle and the bald eagle, talking about the hutch there, the fog rolling in, which is so beautiful. And this is actually one of the studies my daughter was doing with one of the other boys. They each picked what item they wanted to study in depth on the island. And some of it they studied, as a group in general, but then they all picked what they wanted to study in further depth. Okay, more stuff to add. Lots of different pocket pages. I like lots of different sizes. I like being able to take pictures from afar and bring in scenery photos to these kind of things, because otherwise you don't really get the feel of it unless you do that. So another 8.5 by 11. This is the church that's out on the island. Is that the church? Yeah, that's the church. So there's a church out there. There's a graveyard out there, which is really beautiful. They do have like a mass service certain times of the year. So this is probably from the cemetery. This is my husband and one of our friends that their kids were there. This is the church. So I need to do this also. It's 8.5 by 11 size, but as you can see, it's 2 4x6s and a 8.5 by, I don't even know what size this is, to be honest with you. It is approximately 4 3/4. So a little bit different sized. This is just a 6 by 8. This is inside the church. And that's my uncle talking about the church and how it was built and all of that kind of stuff. So it's been around for a very long time. This is the ranch house, which, this is a little, museum at the ranch house. And the kids are looking at the different studies of the Chumash Indians. So I need to do all of these pages. I've got lots to do, you guys. More to be done. I have a ton in this. And actually, I have an entire album of this location already done, but it's a family trip. So the feel is completely different. Maybe I'll share that on another day so you can see. And that one's completely already done. There are no studies going on, so there's a lot less of the instructional type stuff happening. But this is how we get around on the island. I don't know if you can see that. And I love the sign, aircraft runway, look before crossing. It's actually a cow field, a cow pasture. I have actually landed in that cow pasture by plane when I was young. They don't fly out there that much anymore unless you charter. They mostly go by ferry. In the way back when I was a kid, I used to take a Navy boat out there, which was really interesting. This is going out to the west end of the island. These are all fennel plants. And you can see how high they are over the truck. You can't see anything. It's pretty incredible. And that's not native to that island either. They tried to get rid of that too, but it came back like tenfold because they tried to burn it. So another 6x12 here to be done. 6x12s are really, they go by pretty quick, and it's nice because you can do more than one photo, but one photo works well, or you can just do a big title piece like I did on the front. Okay, 2 more that need to be done. The other side is already done. So these are just the backs. These are not papers that I chose for this. So these are the extra special fencing that they put in to keep the pigs out of one end of the island before they realized the fencing wasn't working properly. It was a very expensive underground fence because they will dig. And these are the kids riding in the truck, and then one of the moms. And this is a stop on the way over to the west end of the island, and they're having a talk about these trees and some of the flora out there. This is my uncle. This is just about him because I just call him Uncle Lindell, but he has all these other nicknames because he's been out there for so long. He is actually Dr. Lauren because he has his doctorate in insular biology, if you needed to know that. But his granddaughter sometimes calls him Zorro, and a lot of people call him MacGyver because he is like a jack of all trades out there. He has been the sheriff out there. He has been the road crew out there. He has been a cowboy out there when they had horses. He's had to shoe horses, all kinds of stuff. More pages to be done. I have a note here to myself to cut the 4x6 in half and split between 2 6x6s. So I think I'm splitting this right down the center, and then maybe this one. I'm not really 100% sure. And we'll see what I do with it, but that was my original thoughts. So all kinds of interesting things you can find on the island, bones and all kinds of weird stuff. I have 2 4x6 sections here that I need to fill with something, and then horizontal here. I could put a title in this one, or maybe just a decoration. This is at the west end of the island. It's called Christie, and it's always foggy and cold at that end of the island. Whereas one of the beaches that we go to, we didn't do on this trip because we had too many people, but when we just go as a family, we go to one of the other beaches called Coaches, and it is like a beautiful, pristine beach. But you can only get there by Jeep. This particular trip, we had to take trucks because we had so many people. Another one to be done. This is me, my husband. This is out at the west end. You always find all kinds of things that make you think of, at least it makes me think of Lord of the Flies. So this is my son getting buried in the sand by one of his friends. So on our way out there, we stopped and talked about the flora and the fauna. We talked about also some of the hillside as it erodes over here. You can find bones and stuff like that in it from, I want to say was it the mammoths? I don't know. I'd have to go back and look and do some research to remember. I'm sure my kids remember better than I do. I've got some more sand photos here. I don't know if these are actually going to go in this spot or if I'm going to move some stuff around because I already have sand photos here, but maybe I'll do some there. And this is my daughter buried in the sand, so these could go across from each other, and then I would have to do a filler somewhere with the other side. So that will be something that we figure out as we go. Kids body surfing, building more sand stuff. This end of the island also gets a lot of oil in the sand, so like crude oil, and so we always end up with taking mineral oil and to remove it from your body because it gets stuck on you. And I think I'm using this paper here for this. The backside, I'm not using this. This will be covered with something else. Some more of the kids just playing in the sand after we've already went and checked out all of this. And you know, it's always good to have a little fun when you're doing some work too. So these are just more of the same day. I didn't want to leave out a lot of these photos because it's got some pictures of the parents that were not in a lot of the other photos. So all kinds of cool stuff going on there. And this one doesn't require a whole lot because it's all pictures. Another 12 by 12. Kids building the sandcastles, digging. Nothing super educational in this portion. And so this is the boys digging. The other side is the girls digging. And I'll have to do that page. So a couple more 12 by 12s here. I really love intermixing the two or multiple sizes, because I think it's just like a really fun thing to turn the page and go, oh, it's a little surprise there. Here's a close-up of that hillside, and there are all kinds of archaeological remains that you can find in there. They do studies out there all the time on that kind of stuff. More of the girls playing in the sand. Those actually should be flipped so that the sand photos face that. And this is more of, oh, this is down at the field station for the college. Actually, these two are from the other earlier photos of the Chumash, but these are all the specimens, the specimen research that are down by the field station. So they're two different areas at the island, but they're looking at all of the specimens and that kind of stuff. My uncle is showing them around what the college students are studying and that kind of thing. Super interesting. We've been out there when there's been girls studying the skunks and studying the foxes, which is what my uncle really did his research on. This is the solar system that is out there to run all of the field station, because there's no other power. And this young man is from our group, and he was studying the whole setup for that. So like I said, they all could choose what area of the island they really wanted to study, whether it was archaeological or if it was animals or the habitat the animals live in. But this young man wanted to study the solar system, which that's my uncle showing him around. And my husband really is into that kind of stuff too. So he is here with this young man, and they are checking out all of the array and all of this kind of stuff. So, and then they're talking about the way it's all set up. So lots of pages here for me to do, you guys. I hope this isn't boring you. This is actually a page I did at a retreat. It's not my design. This part opens up and there's a picture inside, I believe. Yeah, there's a picture hidden there. So I have to cut the page protector and get it so it's how it should be, but I need to figure out if I want it on this side or if I want it on this side before I do that, and that requires finishing the album. So this is the whole group with my uncle in the middle. And it says Adventure Bucket List. This really was a trip of a lifetime for a lot of these kids, so it was totally worth it. And then this is after we got back from the island. We stopped on our way home to grab food. It's about a 5-hour drive from our house to Santa Barbara, and so this was kind of one of the stops after we got off of the island. So that is it. I hope that's interesting to you guys, seeing the different sizes and how I just put them right in with the other pages. It's not rocket science. It's not anything that is wild and crazy, but because it's an album that is all revolving around the same trip, I don't worry about whether or not it's going to compete with the other page. I think it looks fine. I will liken it to a magazine. When you open up a magazine, sometimes there's a double page spread, but usually when you open a magazine, there's an ad on one side, there's part of an article, an ad on the other side for something completely different, and maybe another article. You're not looking at it as one whole 12 by 24 canvas the entire time, or whatever size a magazine is. It's not 12 by 24, it's smaller than that. But if you understand what I'm saying, it's not like I'm going to look over here and go, oh, well, this doesn't match what's over here. You know, if I have repeating elements throughout, like I'm using the same paper collection throughout, I might have to mix in a few other things to get it all done. But most of my papers are kind of coordinating. Like this is from a different collection here. but it's got the blues and the blacks, which is, you know, very similar to what's in here. This is kind of a navy blue, almost black. And then I pull in other things that match these guys, and this paper is from the same collection as that. So it just ties it all together, and I don't feel like it doesn't match or anything. I feel like it's gonna work out fine. So hopefully that explained it all. And if not, if you have questions or comments, as always, just leave those down below. I'm totally happy to answer any questions or comments you might have. And maybe one of the other Mondays I will do a share of the other album that is for this trip, so that you can kind of see what the difference, how they compare with the subject matter. The other one is a personal trip with family. This one is a trip that is really for an educational purpose. So anyway, I know that's a really long video. Thanks for sticking with me, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.